74, 87, 201, and so on. So the first thing that we do when you're doing it by hand is you have to make up a table. Say the smallest is 70. So let me make a big interval. So I'll say 0 to 100. Say 100 to 200. Say then you got 200 to 300. Then you got 300 to 400. 400 to 500. Now these are called intervals. Then you got going up to 60, 600. So this is 700. So this is 600. Sorry, this is 500. Let me erase this. This is 500 to 600. And then you got 600 to 700. And then you got 700 to 800. Now these are called class intervals. Now this is called the upper limit and this is called the lower limit. So when you say between 0 to 100, it is all the numbers between 0 to 99.999. 100 starts here. So this is 100 to 199.999 up to infinity. 200 to 299 and so on. So we do the tally marks. So say 0 to 100, you got 1 and 2 here. So you do 2 tally mark. I hope you understand that. So the frequency is 2. Then from 100 to 200, there are none. Okay, so that is 0. Then you got 200 to 300, you got 1 and 2. So you do 2 tally mark. So this is 2. And from 300 to 400, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so do 5 tally marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then you got from 400 to 500, you got 1, 2, 3. So 3 tally marks. This is just to show you a understanding of how you can do it by hand, which is very tedious. So from 500 to 600, you got 1, 2, 3. So you got 3 there. From 600 to 700, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And from 700 to 800, you got only 1. And then you add this up. So this is 4. 2 plus 0 is 0. Plus 2 is 4. Plus 5 is 9. Plus 3 is 12. 15, 19, 20. And then you do the tally. And then you draw histogram like this. So you got your y-axis and your x-axis. Okay, so this is a 0. This is 100. 200. I hope you see the idea. So this is 200. This is 300. So from 0 to 100, you got 2. So you do 2. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So from 0 to 100, you got, from 0 to 100, you got 2 frequencies. So you do 2 like this. And from 100 to 200, you got none. From 200 to 300, you got, so this is your 200. 200 to 300, you got 2, and so on. From 300 to 400, so this is 300 to 400, you got 5. So 2, 3, 4, 5. So it go like this. So this is called histogram. Okay, so this is histogram of income of 20 people. So hope you see the idea. So let me erase this whole thing. Okay. Now if you want to do the same thing on Excel, it's pretty easy. You have to go through a number of steps, but you can do this laborious work, this tedious work much efficiently. Okay, so let me only first do for 20. And then, okay, so let me cancel this. Okay, so the first thing that you need to have is, let me go to home. Let me make this bigger so that you can see what we are doing. And if you go on data, so let me bring this down. Yeah. If you enter data, you should have data analysis on the right. Okay, just to show you. this should be, this data analysis should be there. Now if it's not there, what you need to do is first go to File and then go to Option, and under Option you need to go to Add-ins. Click on Add-ins. Okay, and this should be there. This should be activated. This is called Analysis Tool Pack. It's already activated for me, so if it's not activated you have to go through the prompting, and that will help you to activate it. Once it's okay, you should have this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first, you have to click on this data analysis, and this window will open up. Okay, and then go to histogram, click on histogram, and then you go OK. And here is where you have to enter the data. So this is called input. This is the bin. Okay, now before you go on bin, so let me first make a bin here. You have to define a bin. I'll explain what is bin. So let me write this income bin. Income bin is basically the upper limit. So I'll go write 100, 200, and then you can drag this up to 800. We want up to 800. I'll explain this. So this is your bins, and this is your upper limit of the bins of the classes that we had done. If you remember, we started from 0 to 100, and then we went up to from 700 to 800. Okay, so now let me scroll this. So click on data analysis, and go to histogram. So now it's asking you two things: where is your data and where is your bin? So I will check this. So I want the label, so click on this label. So I want to, where is my data? So my data is the first 20 data. So let me go up to 20. Yeah, this was up to 20, isn't it? So the first 20 data. So your data, this reads like this: $B1 colon $B21. So your data is from B1 to B21. So now it's asking you, where is your bins? So click on bins, and then highlight the bins. Okay, and so we have defined where is your, this is your data, and this is your bins. And open and click on this new worksheet. So this is your input and this is your output. So Excel is asking you, where do you want the output? You can have the output on the same page, or you can ask Excel to open a new page. So this is new worksheet, and then if you click OK, it'll give you the bins. We're almost there, so let me make this bigger. So this is income bins, and this is the frequency. Can you see 0 to 100 is 2, 100 to 200 was 0. And now we need to do a little work here. So I'll go 0-100. Okay, and then here I will go ahead to write 100-200. This is 200-300. This is 300-400. This is, I'll explain what am I doing. You'll not understand. Now these are basically the class interval. This is 500-600, and this is 600-700, and 700-800. So this is the income bin. So you can say that you can remove the bins if you want. Income. This is the income, and this is your frequency. Okay. So we don't want this. You can delete that. Okay. So now you have to highlight this whole thing. Highlight it. Go to Insert. Go to Bar Graph, and enter 2D bar. Okay, sorry, I had to go back. Sorry, I don't want this. This is not what I wanted. Let me scroll this up. Delete it. Okay, so sorry, you have to highlight this. Let me highlight it. Go to Data, column graph, so not bar graph. Go to column and 2D column. So this is almost your histogram. So let me make this smaller. So, okay, so now remove this. Highlight anywhere on the bars. So the bars will be highlighted. Format data series, and we don't want gaps there. So, and then, so this is your histogram. So, and let me make it smaller. Okay, so hope you see it. And so here you can say this is the histogram of income of 20 people. You can give a title. So this is, you can make this smaller. Okay. Okay, so I hope you understand this. So let me make this. Histogram of income, that's good. And then you can copy this and paste it here. So this is, you can see 0 to 100, you got 2 people, 100 to 200, none, 200 to 300, 2, and so this is a histogram. So you can do this for even bigger set of data. Okay, so here if you can label this or highlight this, so if you highlight it, you can go to format, layout, you can have this axis title, so this is below, so this is the income of 20 people in dollars. Okay, so this may be the weekly income. You can say this is a weekly income. So this is the weekly income, and the y-axis is your frequency. So this is a vertical axis, and then you can type in frequency there. So this is your frequency, and this is your weekly income, and this is a perfect histogram. Okay, so this tells you how your income is distributed. Okay, so if you want to do this for the whole, suppose you got say 50 data, let me do this for the whole thing. So same idea, highlight the data, or you don't need to highlight, go to, click on first data, go to data analysis, histogram, and then you need to sort the, so we need to define where's the income, where's the input. So let's say this is, let me first define the bins. Okay, so yeah, let's cancel this. So you can bins. So let's start from say 100, 200, 300, and then you can drag it down like this. So let me go up to say 2000. I think 2000 is the maximum. So this is a bins. So go to data analysis, histogram. So first we need to define the data. So data is, you click on that and Control Shift down key. So it'll highlight the whole data. Okay, and for bins we need to define it like this. We're checking the label, so you start with that Control Shift down key. So that's highlighted. We want to open with a new spreadsheet, you press OK. So this is your bins. So this is your frequency. So there's no one greater than 1800, so let's remove that. So we need to go from, let me make this bigger so that you can see what I'm doing. So this is your income, and then you have to do this in Excel. Sorry, 0 to 100. Yeah, 0 to 100. This is 100 to 200. So I have already done this, so I didn't want to waste your time. So this is 0 to 100 and up to 1600 to 1700. So this is a distribution of income of about 50 people. So highlight the whole thing, including the title, go to insert, column graph, enter. So this is your histogram. So here you can click on the data. So can you see from 0 to 100 you got 3 people. Okay, so click on the bars, any of the bars. All the bars will be highlighted. Format data series and change gaps to 0, no gaps. So this is your histogram, and here you can do the rest yourself. You can change the title, you can label the axis, X and Y axis. So this tells you a number of things. It tells you how this is from 0 to 100 you got 3 people. You can talk about the middle 50%. You can see how it is distributed. So most of the people you can see is between 200 to say 1100. You can say more than 90% of the income is between 200 to 1200.
There's an easy part of graphics journalism and there's a hard part. The hard part is finding the data that you want to use, the data that's relevant to the story that you're trying to produce, understanding that data, making sure that data is complete, and then understanding what form that data should be put in. The easy part is actually creating the charts. We're going to use something called Google Spreadsheets. It has a very good charting function on it, very much like Microsoft Excel. The main advantage of Google is that it's free, it's available, and it will create an interactive chart for you to put on your website, which is pretty cool actually. So let's get started with our first chart here. First one we're going to do is a bar chart, and you see that we have some data here. These data come from the U.S. Department of Education, and it shows the number of students enrolled in private schools for each year at 2-year intervals between 1995 and 2010. The numbers that are on this spreadsheet actually represent thousands of students. So under first column under Catholic, it's 618. That's actually 618,000 students. And so we need to remember that and make sure that we include that fact in our chart. Making the chart, once I've got this data and once I've decided what it is that I'm going to do with it, is very, very easy. I want to put this data into a bar chart, into a column chart, which is a bar chart where the bars actually run vertically, and because I want us to be able to easily compare this data from one year to the next, and within the data, within each year to compare that. So in order to do that, it's this simple. You simply select all of the data that you have here. You go up to the charting function and you click on that, and that brings up this whole window with what they call the chart editor. I see right here the column chart, which is the type that I want to use, and immediately this gives me a kind of a preview of what this chart is going to look like. Now, what I have decided is that instead of having 3 columns for each year, what I'm going to do is have just one column, and it's going to be something called a stacked column chart. So I'm going to go over to where it says charts here, and I see the icon for the stacked column chart, and I click on it, and it gives me that. And it is pretty much that simple. Now once we go this far, we can begin to customize just a bit, and we need to because this chart doesn't have a title. So right now I'm going to give it a title. So I get my title done there, and you see it pops up as soon as I get finished typing it. This thing called the legend right here tells us what each of these colors represent, but I really want to do something a little bit different. It defaults to being on the right side of the chart. I want to put it on the top of the chart there, so it's a little bit more prominent there. There's some other things that I can do at this point, but I want to show you a couple of other things. Once I hit insert, then the chart itself is created on the spreadsheet. I'm going to move it down just a bit so we can see things. I'm going to push it in a bit, and that gets that in thousands in the title down on the second line there. One other thing that we can do here, we can do all sorts of things. We can edit at this point. You see this edit mode that it has here. But I've decided that maybe the orange and the red don't give us enough contrast, and the colors are too close together. So what I'm going to do is click on this, and it's going to select all of those orange pieces of the chart, and I'm going to substitute a different color in here, and I'm going to make it green, just so that we can see all of those charts. And you can see from the chart right off that enrollment in private schools, grades 9 through 12, went up every year from 1995 to 2007, and then it dropped off in that last year that's on our chart. You can also see that Catholic school enrollment stayed pretty much the same, and the difference in each year amounted to the non-Catholic religious schools or the non-religious schools at all. Now, I noticed that this part of the legend, religious non-sectarian, is not showing here, but one thing I can do is put it on its own spreadsheet, and if I do that, then it's likely to show up in a little bit better way. One final thing that we need to do is take a look at how you publish this chart. Now, you see that this little tab called Publish Chart is right here. Here's what happens when I click on that. It will give me the HTML for this chart, and all I have to do is select all of that, copy it, and then paste that HTML onto my website page there. And that's it. That's all we have to do to create that particular chart. So you can see from this short demonstration that using Google Charts or using Excel, which is very much like Google Charts, to create a chart is really a very simple process, one that you can easily master. The hard thing is getting the data, working out what that data mean, and selecting the correct kind of chart to use to present that data.